Hi, my name is Brittany, and I'd like to welcome you to my reflection on the book The Painted Drum by Louise Erdrich. Today I have a piece of art that I've made as a part of my reflection, so I'm going to introduce that and explain it. Okay, so throughout different stages of our lives, we encounter struggles and force ourselves to reconsider how we would like to make our lives meaningful. As a young adult, I am now trying to pave my own pathway and decide not only on my career, but to also reaffirm the virtues and beliefs I would like to live by on a daily basis. Oftentimes, it is hard to recognize our destinies as we are bombarded by our chaotic societies and expected to keep up with this ever-changing world. Louise Erdrich's The Painted Drum allowed me to escape this, even if it were only for 20 minutes at a time or so. The book tuned into the deep emotions which embody relationships among family, friends, and lovers, allowing a certain realism to be established, which I have yet to encounter in a novel. I chose to do a painting to represent my relationship with the book. Not only does visual art have a certain aesthetic appeal that engages the viewer, I also found it to be a suitable method because it allows someone to look at the piece and view and analyze my interpretation and connection with the story. Visual art permits the viewer to make connections and evoke thoughts or ideas about the artist's work, all without the use of verbal communication, a feature which I highly enjoy as it allows the viewer to contemplate and form their own unique opinions without someone else's influence. It is my hope that this painting will convey the same feelings and thoughts that the painted drum evoked during my experience with it. Through her intricate descriptions of what I thought at the time to be minute details, are ones which I now acknowledge to be analogously related to the major themes throughout the book. Her ability to perfectly describe every sound, vision, smell, and touch which accompanied each situation was a very powerful tool that brought the reader on an imaginative journey. This is also part of my reasoning for presenting the book review in the form of a painting. Throughout all 4 parts of the novel, the stories were illustrated in my mind. As the drum's journey began in New Hampshire, so did my imagination for different pictures of settings we encountered throughout the novel. My canvas is divided into 4 parts, each representing a section of the book. Although I'm not the best artist, I tried to incorporate some of my most favorite displays that were thought up while reading the book. Most of them are situated outside and capture nature's greatest beauties. And I think these stood out to me the most because of Erdrich's ability to describe them perfectly to a T. Now, without further ado, I will leave you a short bit to observe the painting and make your own inferences and interpretations about it. The first section is speckled with black and white pointillism. When Faye Travers found the drum, it had been many years that the drum had been stored away, sheltered from the world. In this part, we are presented with characters who are unsure about their emotions, about their Anishinaabe history, and how they'd like to live out their lives. Faye Travers, the narrator in this section, is undecided about the pursuit of her love affair with Krahi, and unsure that how she wants her future to play out, personally and career-wise. Here we are presented with a middle-aged woman who appears to see all people and situations in black and white, and whose perceptions are mainly critical and cynical. It is for this reason that Section 1's part of the canvas is represented by black dots. The lack of spirituality and connection to Anishinaabe heritage first led me to believe that this correlated to the character's lost sense of belonging and uncertainty with people and situations in their lives. This left me with the feeling that everyone was segregated, unlike the 3 remaining parts in the novel. Nothing flowed, nothing made sense. The constant searching for greater meaning and questioning by Faye in essence correlates to the state of the drum. Inactive and not being used to help men's sorrows. As the spiritual grandmother Chook says on page 105, that's what the drum is good for, letting these sorrows out into the open where those songs could bear them anyway. It's interesting, until Faye's age is revealed approximately halfway into the first part, I truly believe that she was around the age of a young adult in her 20s. Erdrich portrays her as a very naive soul who is unsure about the world and unsure about herself. Her hopelessness and indecisiveness is shown by the way she is shaded in, very scattered and non-uniform. Faye's character is a result of her broken childhood. Her father, a failed scholar who was manipulative and frightening, and her mother, always absent and preoccupied with the love of another man. Faye describes her mother as being perfectly assimilated, cold-blooded, and analytical about the reservation present, and utterly dismissive of history. It is for this reason that the mother is displayed in all black garments. She already has her mind made up, and she leaves no room for embracing her past. Faye is weighed down by the guilt of her little sister's death, although she is not directly responsible for it. Faye felt the need to fill the void of her absent parents and protect her sister. The orchards were a prominent theme for Faye throughout the novel, as she associates them with her past and the passing of her sister. As her relentless lover Kurt tries to get her attention by sprucing up these orchards, Faye is turned away as Kurt begins to act out of sorts, and also impeding on a sensitive place for her. The spiders are also a symbol of Faye's disparity. She has a deep connection with them from the time that she was left to lay after her sister jumped from the tree. Their elegant web-making forces her to question her own life and question her contribution to the world. As she states on page 39, "I'm not a sentimental person and don't believe old things hold the life of people." When the sound of the drum draws her in, however, this all changes. Her guard, which was once brought on by the significant issues of the past, is now let down as she follows her gut instinct and allows the drum to guide her towards it. Through her deep connection with the drum, we see that she is its temporary keeper. Both of the female characters are juxtaposed by that of quote-unquote Squamian Kit Thatcher Everett, the man who is keen to discover his American Indian ancestry, although questioned for having any sort of tribal blood whatsoever. For his representation, a little closer, I didn't dot him in as much because he is very open to learning about his past and is one of the more spiritual characters first introduced in this part. Although Faye speaks about him in a belittling and derogatory way, there is something about his charismatic character that I truly enjoy. Perhaps it is the commitment and perseverance he shows throughout his journey to make some sort of connection. Once he finds this missing piece, maybe everything in his life will fall into place. The second part of the story is when the drum truly starts to come to life. It has been rediscovered by Faye Travers and delivered to its rightful owner, Bernard Chawano, its creator's grandson. The progression of the drum's order is seen by the overall pattern displayed for this section: soft, colorful lines. These lines represent the drum's revival, and although it is not up to its full potential, it is uniting people slowly. It is in this section that we are introduced to how the drum came to be, a crucial component. As Faye describes in the first section, drums are made for serious reasons by people who dream the details of their construction. In this case, it is a little girl who initiated the construction of the drum and had very good reason to do so, to save her father from misery and reignite his spirit, to provide the community with an invaluable gift. The strong connection between the father and the daughter is seen by the light connecting them, representing optimism and the start of a new life. all of which are brought on by the construction of the drum. The girl is sitting delicately on a cloud, watching over everyone and bringing them together. It is suggested that, being the good Anishinaabe girl she was, and always putting others first, that she willingly ended her life to save that of the others. It is for this reason that she is represented as being quite happy and satisfied with the condition she is in. For me, the drum can represent a variety of things in life, all of which provide a new beginning and opportunity for growth. We see this in the grandfather Shawano's character. At first, not caring if he was dead or alive, and lastly, in a place where he had stopped wandering and was finally making meaningful accomplishments. The left side of this section represented all the good that the drum contributed to the lives of the community. Gathered around the fire are members of the community dancing and singing, being cured from illnesses. This is when I realized what the drum was truly capable of and why it mattered. A quote which perfectly describes its existence was found on page 172 and states, "The drum waits with the patience of unloving things, and yet it heals with life itself. As much as a drum heals, it can also cause harm if the order is out of place." On the right-hand side of the page is a portrayal of the sorrow and history the drum had, which led to its abandonment. As Simon Jack joined, wearing his obnoxious costume made of flowers, vines, and beads, the drum's order became overturned. Simon Jack was the ultimate reason for the little girl's mother, Aniqua, leaving her father, Shawano, which led to her death. The costume was made by Simon Jack's past lovers and displayed his arrogance for all to see. It is for this egotistical reason that he is displayed as being bigger than all the members of the community. I found it very interesting that both Faye and her mother, along with Simon Jack, were both pillagers. The fact that a pillager found the drum and was now able to reestablish its function by giving it to the rightful owners, the Shawanos, really brought together the story perfectly. This exemplifies the power of the drum by bringing two past enemies together to work alongside one another. The third section of the book was by far my favorite, as it finalized the rejuvenation of the drum, and we were able to experience its actions firsthand. Erdrich pulls the reader in along with all of their emotions by including 3 young children who are poverty-stricken to show truly what the drum is capable of. It is in this section that she truly brings to light issues that many Aboriginal people are facing today, including severe poverty and few job opportunities. As the 3 children, Apichi, Alice, and Shawnee, are left alone during the time that their mother is trying to make money and support her family, they are scrounging for food. Here in the picture, that's Shawnee in the middle and either one on each side of her. Shawnee's determination is seen through her interaction with her younger siblings in the beginning. She reassures them that they are not hungry because there is nothing to eat. Attempting to be savvy, she lit a fire in the house to keep her siblings and herself alive. The oil painting, which I used in the third section, represents a scene where Shawnee is walking towards Bernard's house and is guided by the sounds of the drum. The drum spoke to her and saved her and her siblings. They all experience the edge of life, and this is demonstrated by the contrast in dark colors from the cold sky which almost took their lives, and the illuminated window in Bernard's house signifying the spirit of the drum reaching out to her. When Apichi is close to death from severe pneumonia, the drum is brought out after so long and used to heal him. By looking from section 1 to 3, and all the deaths that occurred initially, to the final healing, the drum's life cycle and progression is seen. At last, we have seen the connection between everyone's stories. The little girl had come home, and she had saved a girl, a relative, a sister. Here's a closer look up on section 3. Pictures do it better justice. Okay, now for the last section. In the last short section, titled Revival Road, all of the characters are closer in understanding their identities and are brought together. Throughout the book, Faye had struggled with the death of her younger sister, which had prevented her from living her life. Although still skeptical about the drum, even after reading Bernard's letter to her about the story of the 3 children who were saved, she finds comfort by forgiving her sister. The scene which resonated with me the greatest was at the end when Faye finds herself beside her sister's branch. The branch is almost torn off, yet held only by a few straps of bark. She states, "A hard tug and it would lie completely severed in the long, fine orchard grass." However, she does not pull it off, and does not gain a sense of relief from this action. Being able to destroy the object related with such a traumatic memory. It is at this point that I recognize how the drum has helped Faye in her revival journey. And you can see here I've drawn in her sister as the bird here, which swipes her face at the end. The drum is placed in the center of the 4 parts because it is the object which connects the 4 parts of the book, and most importantly, the people in it. Just as humans encounter good times and bad times, so does the drum. From parts 1 to 4, it reestablishes itself, and through the struggles and spiritual healing it encounters, its identity and purpose is reinstated. The journey of the drum and all the lives it has touched along the way is represented by the 4 patterns which build the drum. These patterns not only build the drum physically, but it is through the drum's interaction with the individuals in each part that makes the drum come to life. The individual patterns on each segment forming the drum represent a progression as well. As the drum reestablishes more order in the community, it grows stronger and becomes as one. It cured people and brought them security. As the pattern moves from the first section, represented as broken pointillism, to the 3rd section, represented by a thick flow of oil paint, a gradual unity is formed by the drum. Another couple themes that I found to progress throughout the story and the resurrection of the drum included the concept of life and death. Throughout the novel, we are presented with 3 situations where 3 young girls are killed, causing the people around them to be significantly affected by grief. The spirits of these 3 deceased girls live on, as seen in the sky in the first part. So we've got Faye's sister here by the tree, and the skyline here, which extends from parts 1, 2, and 3, is significant because it represents not only the journey of the drum, but how order is reinstated in the communities by the drum. We also see here Faye's lover, Krahi, his daughter, who died in a car accident over a bridge. And lastly, as we've already seen, we see Shawano's daughter in the sky as well. We also see the trend of death and life through the concept and constant repetition of the wolves in the story, along with Revival Road. Now, Revival Road, I believed, connected parts 1 and 3 together. So for that reason, I've extended it. It starts here, and Faye and her mother and Kit are walking towards the drum, interested in it, while part 3 over here, it's the drum bringing in the 3 children and essentially saving them, and Shawnee bring them towards the light. It is the interaction of all these separate segments which truly ignites the drum, and it is a reflection of the Shawano's little girl, the person which was responsible for its creation and whose spirit lives on in the drum. As Bernard states on page 179, that little girl's bones gave the drum its voice. Which brings me to my final comment on the representation of the drum. The sparkly beads are put on the drum to represent the little girl's unconditional spirit. The unity brought on by the drum is evident in the relationship among family members, within the community, between love affairs, and most importantly between the hearts and minds of the characters. At first hidden from the world because its order was thrown off, now in the opening to reinstate order by guiding people with hope and spirituality, bringing lost souls and the community together as one.